Okay, this is Foxymoron. Please stand for the closing hymn. This dance of averted eyes and loaded words. There was that particular 4th of July. She was spilled, spilling, spoiled. Do not bend, fold, tear, or mutilate. The weather turned cold prematurely, but no matter. Remember thinking, this is falling, and then just as suddenly thinking, I'd fallen. When we last left our heroine, she had survived the trauma of cursing without even knowing it with her inadvertent use of pussyfoot, but continued to be baffled by what exactly one was expected to do with one's foot in there to commit this foul act. Federal law prohibits dispensing without prescription. Though the precise meaning of pussyfoot remained an enigma, the riddle was partially solved by a 6th grader's insight that the obscene nature of pussy stemmed from its French origin. Everybody doesn't like something, but nobody doesn't like Sarah Lee. This made perfect sense, as everyone knew that French was, by definition, the dirtiest of languages. The Surgeon General warned smoking may be hazardous to your health. As, for example, when her mother accidentally used a curse word, she was always quick to excuse herself by adding, "Pardon my French." Along these same lines, there was French kissing, the dirtiest type of kissing, though she could never quite remember what exactly this entailed. How does the title relate to the text? Tastes so good, cats ask for it by name. The enclosed documents are intended solely for the addressee listed and should be opened by the aforementioned only. Such distinctions were hard to keep straight. She remembered the difference between, say, butterfly kisses and Eskimo kisses because these variants of the standard goodnight kiss were part of her typical bedtime repertoire, yours at no extra charge. But knowledge without application posed additional hurdles in terms of retention, and so the poor dog had none. Care for a pamphlet on God's love? A cruel mistake of the ear to hear one's own name in every discussion of barbarism. Please stow all portable electronic devices at this time until we have arrived at the gate. Ultimately, she was not particularly troubled by her inability to distinguish between French kissing and regular kissing, as, she reassured herself, she had plenty of time to figure it out. Please see separate insert for important information about rates, fees, and other costs. The difference between a fox and a dog, however, proved a more infuriating distinction, as she was frequently called upon to profess whether she found, say, Rick Springfield or some other pop icon to be a fox or a dog. In these serious times, all jokes, humorous asides, and innuendo will be taken seriously. Everything green eventually fades, which is precisely the problem, a pocket full of posies. This game of professing supposedly trivial preferences in fact proved far more complicated in that it not only tested one's social awareness of popular cultural figures and by proxy demonstrated quite publicly the currency of one's cultural literacy, or, in the parlance of 2nd grade, how cool one was. I know you are, but what am I? But also, this seemingly inconsequential inquisition simultaneously served to survey one's aesthetic judgment with the ultimate goal of assimilating the few, the proud, individualized notions of taste into a homogenized consensus of who was hot and who was not. If you've got the time, we've got the beer. Ask yourself, are comments made about my clothes, makeup, and body more than my work? These exercises will utilize breath and movement to link various postures that build strength, flexibility, stamina, and unity in the mind and body. Sports and games are fun to play, but only in the proper way. As I myself could never manage to keep straight whether fox or dog signified the desired other versus a detested untouchable, when E.F. Hutton talks, people listen. Knowing that to admit confusion was to declare defeat and thereby be relegated as the weakest link in all subsequent power struggles, the king was in the counting house counting out his money. I instead resorted to reason. I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, which ultimately proved equally problematic, for when it comes to the attempts of 7-year-old girls to determine the alpha female, we all fall down. Reason and rationality play no part. For complete diagnosis and treatment, see your doctor. Be sure to greet your guests as they arrive and participate in those first few minutes of chit-chat to set the tone. What is the writer's agenda? It's smooth sailing along the expressway. I'm in the mood for a melody. Nonetheless, fool that I was, I'm in the mood for a melody. Resort to reason I did, I'm in the mood. So I all told him that I was totally into his friend, thinking he'd be all jealous and everything, right? But he was all like, yeah, that's cool. He's a real good guy. According to my understanding of a fox being comparable to a wolf, and therefore, as fairy tales clearly confirmed, a figure to be wary of, road work ahead, combined with my clear conviction that dogs were infinitely cute and cuddly creatures providing hours of amusement for hair so healthy it shines, I confidently asserted to my inquisitors that Scott Baio was indeed a dog, whereas Jimmy Walker was quite the fox. Yes, sir, 3 bags full. There was digging, but nothing found.